It's that time of year. We are back at the Bob Carpenter Center for the boys' Final Four semifinals. Nick Alcindrini alongside the coach Bill Harmon, and we're going to jump right into it here. We are joined by our first squad, the William Penn Colonials, Emmanuel Rahm, Jaden Guy, Jalen Sample, and head coach Gary Lumpkin. Guys, really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us here before the big game.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.
No problem. Absolutely. And guys, obviously at the Bob Carpenter Center in the semifinals. Coach, we'll start with you here. Just talk a little bit about what has been your message to the team and the mindset coming into this one here at the Bob Carpenter Center.
Well, the message has just simply been that as long as we defend and execute, we would have a pretty successful year. The message has been that as long as we don't beat ourselves, we would be in every game and give ourselves an opportunity to win ball games. And the last few games now that has happened, we've started to play much better at the right time, and guys are believing and defending, executing, and most of all, they're being coachable, which is key.
Gary, this is for you, but certainly the players can answer as well. A very difficult schedule you went through this season. Obviously, we know as coaches what that can do, but I'd be curious of your opinion of that. But also, that win down at Seaford's got to give you guys just a tremendous amount of confidence.
Absolutely. Well, we did schedule a very hard schedule this year on purpose. We wanted to make sure that we were battle-tested, and we believe we were that, and I believe that's why we were able to go into Seaford and get that win. We just persevered through it. The guys kept believing. It was interesting throughout the course of the game that they just kept saying, we're not going to lose this game. Just keep battling, keep fighting every possession, and their mindsets towards that game was very positive and upbeat. And they never gave in, never waved the white towel, and that's been pretty much our focus and mentality all year.
Guys, you want to add?
I say us having that tough schedule, we've seen every problem, a team could face going up 10, going down 10, and we just know how to battle. And us going through those tough losses bring us together, so that when we went down to Seaford and we were down 22-8 the first quarter, we all huddle up and say, yo, we got to pick this up. We come back and battle back and win the game.
I feel like the tough schedule was definitely a big bonus for us because I felt like we competed with everybody that we needed to compete with. I felt like when we went against tough teams, we never back down. Some teams back down, but I felt like we competed every single game. We showed that we can really be one of the best teams in the state, and that's why we're here today. So,
Great senior leadership on this team. Tell us, guys, and also Coach, what that does for you, especially in these really difficult games where you get into the clutch moments. Though you had 7 losses, there wasn't one by more than 9 points in a number of very close games, 2 and 3. So your seniors obviously have had a lot to do with this great season you all have had.
Go ahead, Jay.
I feel like the leadership keeps us together, so we can keep fighting and stay together no matter what.
The losses, the 7 losses that we did have, quite honestly, we felt we didn't. There were a few of them that we were pretty upset about, but for the most part, we were okay with them because we learned a lot. We learned a lot from them. We would always come back to practice and fix what we did wrong. We would work on, our rotations on defense or working on better execution on offense. At one point, we kind of went away from our full court defense for the sake of sitting down in the half court and guarding and becoming a little more half court and being a little more strategic in what we were doing on the floor.
Coach, we did your Howard game earlier in the year, and I was really impressed with your team. I think they share the ball extremely well, very tough mentally, tough defensively. Tell us what little subtle changes you might be making here to change up, I hate to say a losing hand, but almost like a poker hand, lost it in overtime by 2 points after having an early lead. Yeah. Tell us what adjustments you want to make tonight.
Well, we just want to keep our foot on the gas. Right? We don't want to let up. I told them today, no matter what, for 32 minutes, we are always in attack mode. Defensively, offensively, we're talking, we're aggressive, we rebound with aggression, and just making sure that we're all the way locked in for 32 minutes.
You can hear some of the William Penn fans starting to get into the building here already, guys.
Yeah.
But what's kind of the keys in your players' minds? What do you guys have to do today, in your opinion, here to come out and advance to the state championship this weekend?
Like I said, just defense. I feel like defense is going to be the main staple that we need to do because I feel like if we can play good defense and keep teams scoring are the focal point points that we need them to hold them to, I feel like they can turn into a lot of offensive chances. That's what we feel off. Defense turns to offense, so we can.
And guys, what about for you two guys as well?
I feel like everyone just has to play their role to the best of their ability. because at the end of the day, when it says that Colonials are up, everyone gets the credit, and we're all going to be in the front. So I think everyone does their role, and nobody can stop us.
I feel like we have to get a great start, and after the great start, we just got to keep up and don't let up. And we got to box out, look ahead for outlets, and get easy transition buckets, and make sure we get back on defense.
Best of luck to you all. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys. Your William Penn Colonials first matchup, 6:30
so
p.m.
much.
tip-off on the NFHS Network.
The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know.
Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal Credit Union, we understand what it means to be local. We started here, and we're not going anywhere. We're as local as it gets, and we like it that way. We're not just a financial institution, we are the local credit union that you can trust. Local people, local decisions. Dover Federal Credit Union. Your home, your community. It's not just where you live, it's where you belong. At Dover Federal.
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. Nick Alessandrini, the coach Bill Harmon. We are live at the Bob Carpenter Center for your boys semifinal. It is the Final Four time of the year, and we now have the luxury of being joined by the third-seeded Howard Wildcats here back at the Bob Carpenter Center. Guys, we really appreciate your time again ahead of the big one. Just want to introduce yourselves, and then we'll get started.
Yep. My name is Xavier Richards-Powell. I'm a senior. Aiden Richards-Powell, also a senior.
Marcus Johnson, senior.
Rasan Matthews, head coach. Senior, good point.
Yeah, that's right. There you go, Coach. And Coach, we'll start with you, and you guys can add on to this one as well. Just how does it feel to be here at the Bob Carpenter Center? Obviously, the semifinals. You had a chance to warm up a little bit on the hardwood behind us. Just how are you guys feeling coming into this one?
We feel good, man. We, I brought this group over here as seniors because I know the feeling that they had when we left this floor last year. So it was a goal that they set out, before we even left this building to give ourselves the best chance to come back this year to finish unfinished business. So, we're motivated, we're confident, and, we're happy to get this opportunity again.
It feels great. Last year we came up short, so we went through a lot as a team this year. So it feels good to get back where we wanted to get.
Feel great, well prepared.
Yeah, it's definitely a great feeling, us being though that we played here last year and we know what it takes to win this year. So it's definitely a great feeling.
Coach, one of the hallmarks of your team, since I've seen you all play a number of times, you create a lot of offense out of your defense. Are we going to see that tonight? A lot of full court pressure. You guys do a great job of scrambling, making it chaotic for the opposition.
Yeah, our plan is to mix it up. Again, with a team that we've already played once this year, I'm sure they're preparing for some of the things we did last time. But we know our strengths, and we know, we preach that our defense creates our offense. So if we can create opportunities to get out and run, then we're going to do it. But at the end of the day, our mindset is do whatever it takes. So if that's pressing, it's pressing. If it's playing a half-court set, we'll do that. You've probably seen us in zone maybe 2 times all year, but we're prepared to do that if we feel as though that's giving us the best chance to win.
Coach, I've coached against you in football, against your son, who's a terrific player, and he's also very good in basketball. Tell me what it's like coaching your son in basketball.
It's a blessing, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. We have our moments where, I tread that line of dad and coach, right? So it definitely gets difficult, but seeing him grow as a player, both on the football field and on the basketball court, is a great experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
And guys, now what kind of stands out to the last time you guys played these guys? Obviously, a really close game there. What kind of stands out in your minds, and what are you looking for to adjust to here tonight?
Honestly, they're just another team that has to play us. So, we're going to do whatever it takes to win, and we're going to play hard.
I agree. I feel like we need to start fast this game instead of last game. We started off a little slow. So I feel like once we do that, it's going to be a good game.
We ain't come to no bob, no lose, man. We lost last year. Terrible feeling. Came here to win.
Coach, you're 5-0 in games settled under 5 points. You beat William Penn earlier in the year in overtime by 2. Tell us what's the secret to that success.
I think it's maturity. I think it's that, we have a group of guys on our team that have been varsity players for 3.5 years. We've been through some ups and downs where we didn't close out games in the past because of our youth and not being able to finish at the foul line. Those games that we've won by those points, I'm sure you can go back and look at what we did from the free throw line, and we were probably 70% or better. We probably, scored, 50-60% of our points in the games from inside the paint. So it's just figuring out the right ways to win and the way to close out good basketball games.
Guys, you can start with this one, and Coach, you can finish it off for us. What are your guys' keys to the game? What do you guys have to see out of each other, your team, to head to the state championship?
We got to keep building up each other. If a mistake happens in the game, we can't ponder over it. We just got to bring each other up and, keep playing defense. Our defense is really what's going to get us to the next level.
I'd say just play hard defense and just talk. We got to rebound. We got to do all the little things, win all the 50-50 balls. And I feel like if we do all of that, we can come out victorious.
I said we're real big on chemistry and team adversity.
From a game plan perspective, I think we keep Jaden Guy out of the paint. We don't allow Jalen Sample to get going with 3-pointers, and we keep Emmanuel Vaughn off the boards. If we do those 3 things, I think we walk away with opportunity to play for a championship on Saturday.
There you have it, the Howard Wildcats. You hear the music. It's warm-up time, just moments away from them playing here in the semifinals. Guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to break these down here live on Delaware Live Sports.
High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality. High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when 3 guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget Expectation and 5 Jersey Mikes throughout Delaware. High Five Hospitality's mission is to operate 5 brands that serve high-quality products with exceptional hospitality. High Five Hospitality, founded in 2004 when three guys teamed up to introduce the Buffalo Wild Wings franchise to Delaware. To date, they operate 8 Buffalo Wild Wings in Delaware and Maryland. Also the Stone Balloon and Limestone Barbecue. And let's not forget,
Welcome to Premier Physical Therapy and Sports Performance. We're a locally owned outpatient physical therapy practice with convenient locations in all 3 counties in Delaware. At Premier, we have experienced physical therapists with advanced credentials, but their hospitality, passion, and enthusiasm is what makes the difference for you. Find our convenient locations at premierptsp.com.
You may have tried physical therapy,
but have you tried Premier? Welcome to
First State Orthopedics statewide has 29 physicians at 16 locations. Our physicians and staff provide both non-surgical as well as surgical treatment for almost all orthopedic conditions and injuries. We are specially trained in the current state-of-the-art techniques. We serve as team physician and orthopedic consultant for over 20 high schools, Wilmington University, and many local recreational and competitive leagues. Our doctors are readily available to the local emergency departments as well as medical aid units and urgent care centers for consultation and treatment. Call for an appointment today or visit us at firststateortho.com.
And welcome back inside Delaware Live Sports. A special thank you to Howard and William Penn joining us ahead of their first matchup here tonight at the Bob Carpenter Center. And also we do want to say a special thanks as well to Salesianum and of course Middletown, who if they were able to would have been on the show. They would have came on and had some interviews with us, but unfortunately obviously due to the time of the tip-off and the travel itinerary, etc., they were unable to be here, but they both were willing to be on, so we just want to make sure that, disappointing we don't get to talk to them, but they've got bigger fish to fry here ahead of their big semifinal here tonight. So Nick Alessandrini, the coach Bill Harmon, Glenn Frazier, Pat Garianis, guys, let's dive in now to this first matchup between the 7th-seeded William Penn Colonials and the 3rd-seeded Howard Wildcats. Pat, it's going to be a fun one, a game that happened in late January, and now we get a rematch here in the semifinal.
You're not getting that. That's the Blue Hen Conference in general, right? You got 3 of the Final 4 teams. You got a great battle right here with William Penn and Howard. The styles of play are going to be an exciting brand of basketball. William Penn's got a 3-headed monster with Guy, Sample, and Vaughn. Howard pretty evenly dispersed, right, between the Richards pals you had on here. Obviously, R.J. Matthews. They're a fun team to watch as well. I'm looking forward to 2 teams that know each other, played against each other, know how they play, and how's that going to play out. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
And Coach, obviously a chance to do that first matchup between these 2 teams. A 2-point game, like I mentioned, back on January 31st. What stood out to you in that first matchup?
William Penn got off to a great start. The lead dissipated when I think they actually tried to slow down, and we heard Coach Lumpkin talk about keep his foot on the pedal, and I think that's actually what they want to do. Though, I think the game for William Penn is better to be played in the 50s than it would be for Howard. Howard gets so much offense out of their defense. They want to play a quick up-tempo game. They don't mind if they turn it over a few times because they know they're going to have multiple possessions. So I look for them to press and keep it extremely high throughout the game. William Penn's got to be able to contend with that, but then get into their half-court sets and execute. If they're able to execute, I think we're going to see some really good three-point shooting from William Penn, and they are tenacious on the offensive glass.
And Glenn, you've had a chance to see Howard at least once this year. What makes them so dangerous as they have again made their way back to a second consecutive trip to the Bob Carpenter Center?
Well, first off, I think it's ironic that Coach talked about the style of play of the 2 teams and how Howard wanted to play in the 70s where William Penn would be more comfortable in the 50s. That's the same thing we're going to have in the second semifinal. Middletown being a team that wants to be in the 70s, and Salesianum wants to play in the 50s. 2 ball games in the semifinals that I think going in very similar. As broadcasters, you 2 are going to call the first game, and I know you'd love to have a repeat of the last game when they went to overtime and you had a 2-point ball game. Howard, they hit a little bit of lull in the back part of the season. They lost a couple of games that were kind of like head scratchers, but they seem to be driving on all cylinders again. And William Penn, to me, I mean, they've been kind of consistent all year, but they have really played together. Very good brand of defensive basketball. And listen, that's a big win down in Seaford in front of a hostile crowd for them to pull that one out. Looking forward to it. I can sit back and relax, Pat and I, and let you guys do all the work in the first one.
Well, now let's kind of shift our focus and talk a little bit about that second game, 8-10 schedule, or 8-10, I believe, scheduled tip-off for game number 2. Obviously, the odds of that, happening are pretty slim, so we'll keep you updated. You know how it goes for these type of games. But let's talk a little bit about Salesianum, your 5 seed, Middletown, your top overall seed of the tournament. A team in Middletown, Glenn, that you've seen, Pat, as well, numerous times. What stands out to you about the Cavaliers this year amidst their top, 1 seed of the playoffs?
I think it's the depth, Nick and Coach. I mean, they go about 8 or 9 deep, but guys that are quality rotational players, if not starters, on the majority of the teams in the state. They're very senior laden as well, and they got the mix of both talent that they grew from their program as well as key transfers in there as well between Edmund, Height, and Rogers. I kind of consider a Middletown kid, even though he started off in Caravel. They share the basketball. That's one thing I think, that's probably the most impressive thing with the coaching job that Coach Ali has done, is allow these guys who were big-time key contributors, whether it be in the other program or for Middletown earlier in their career, and got them to buy in and share the basketball. They don't, there's no egos, at least on the court it seems like there's no egos, no selfishness. They're sharing the basketball offensively, and they're getting after it on the defensive end. They're perhaps the deepest team in the state, and they're playing the game the right way. That's why they only got 1 loss coming in on the season, because, Glenn, that 1 loss was against the team they play tonight.
Interesting fact again. And first, before we continue, congratulations to Coach Ali.
Yes.
Obviously bringing another baby into the family. So congratulations, Coach. And a big week for you. So again, hope everything's going well in that aspect. And Glenn, obviously talk about that first matchup, Sally's and Middletown. What are you looking for? Obviously, you two are going to be doing this game tonight. What are you going to be looking for from a broadcaster's point of view in that matchup?
I think Middletown needs to get off to a good start. I mean, they got off to a horrible start in that other game. I think, 1 basket in the entire first half. I can't believe that with the depth, the scoring depth that they have on that ball club. Credit to Salesianum and the defense they played. I think Middletown learned a few things that they will take into this semifinal matchup. And Pat was talking about their scoring depth. Coach Ali has told us on many occasions, it's we, not me. The players have bought into that, and it all goes through the floor general, Amir Height. He's made that team so much better with his court vision and his ball distribution. I think him coming in from Dover has kind of settled everything else out for Middletown, and now he can hit those open shooters around the perimeter. He can dribble, penetrate. They have great length on the wings as well. I think height has made a big difference in that ball club.
And Coach, obviously we just talked about that last matchup between Sally's and Middletown. Sally's able to find a way to win that game, pretty decisively. What stands out about Salesianum? What makes them so good?
Well, Salesianum's coming in playing their best basketball of the season. They had an incredibly difficult schedule early on. I think that has really prepared them for this late run. Won 9 out of 10. Their defense has keyed them. Like height, they have Isaiah Henson, who's been playing extremely well, but he's got some other great teammates. Hines, I think, is playing at a very high level. Their big man, R.J. Johnson, can be impactful not only inside but outside. And their bench has gotten much more cohesive and has been giving them some great minutes. So I'm going to rule out that game back in January as an anomaly because Middletown's way better than that. It was a combination of just some, unfortunately, ill-timed bad shooting, but some good defense by Salesianum. Now we're playing on a neutral court. It's a month and a half later. I think this game's a toss-up. Sally's playing extremely well, but Middletown coming in also playing at a very high level, and they've got that unbelievable senior leadership. I believe they only have 2 juniors on the roster, and the rest are seniors. Sally's only starts 1 senior, and they're more junior-laden. An interesting matchup. A lot is going to be going on in that second game. Taylor Trevisan and his staff have done a really good job of getting this team better and having them ready to play their best game of the season in March.
It's going to be a fun set of games tonight, guys, as we gear up for your semifinals here at the Bob Carpenter Center. And I think that about does it. Closing words here, guys, as we can hear the music. Teams are warming up. We're almost ready for tip. Pat, What do you think about
Hey,
tonight?
It's always my favorite time of the year, whether it was the quarterfinals or the semifinals. Now it's the semifinals here at the Bob Carpenter Center. I think the matchups are interesting ones. I think that it sets up for two extremely competitive games, and I think that we're going to have a fun night of basketball, and I look forward to seeing who steps up, who's going to step up to the challenge. Like I said, two evenly matched teams in both of those games. It's going to be fun.
Going to be fun, Glenn. How you feel?
Hope it's competitive ball games. It's a lot easier to call as a broadcaster, as you all well know. I think they will be, unlike last night in the girls. Sanford Ursuline definitely heads above everybody else. I think we have 4 very closely competitive ball clubs here tonight. And again, I'm going to echo you. Congratulations to Coach Ali and his wife for their son that was just brought into the world a few days ago.
That's right, Coach. Semifinals.
Well, what I love about it is both of these matchups, the teams have played one another during the regular season. And from a coaching standpoint, I think it'll be very interesting to see, does the loser change up the hand? Does the winner stay pat? I think it's a great chess match, and we're going to really see a couple great ball games here tonight.
There you have it. 2 big semifinals coming up. It's number 7 William Penn, number 3 Howard, number 5 Sally's, and number 1 Middletown. For Pat Garianis, Glenn Frazier, and the coach Bill Harmon, I'm Nick Alessandrini. Enjoy basketball. All these games coming up live on the NFHS Network, powered by Delaware Live Sports.
Now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader. Because Delaware's future belongs to all of us. Quality journalism we can trust to help us take on the day. Delaware Live. Our state, our news, our home. The things that matter most happen right in our own backyard. Our neighbors, our schools, the places we go, and the people we know. And now there's one news outlet where our story is told. Delaware Live. Locally owned, community-based news. Free to every reader, because Delaware's future belongs to all of us.